Are we live? Are we live? Are we
Oh
live? Are
yeah, we
live?
live.
Oh
The red
boy.
light is on.
Listen, it's going to be more than the red light that we have to get into because we have to get into the Tuesday Night War, gentlemen. This is going to be one of those episodes, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to have to buckle your seatbelts. It's something you do not want to miss. As you can see the look, I see the look on the brother's face as I'm trying to start the intro. We got NXT, we got AEW Dynamite, we got the Fastlane Fallout, so much more after this. Plus, we got to review Championship Culture, one of my favorite shows. Brothers, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
I said, are you ready? Let's get ready to set.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!
What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Wrestle Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm. I am your host, the realness himself. He is your host, Brandon the Guy. He is your host, Hollywood Brian H. Waters.
What up, y'all?
Figured I'd loop the track. He is your host. He will be coming in later on. Has the third, A to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R to the D. Brother Hugh has the third. Please follow us on all our social media platforms: Instagram, Threads, X, and Facebook. I finally gave in at Wrestling Realm. Like, subscribe, and engage in the conversation with us. You can also stream and download all of our audio content on Anchor. You know what? I heard Stitcher's not available anymore. I think we're late to the party. Podbean, Pocket Pass, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at Wrestling Realm. For all your Wrestling Realm needs, all your Wrestling Realm merchandise, and more, head over to WrestlingRealm.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, WrestlingRealm.com. For all your Wrestling Realm apparel and more. I did it in the Dragon Ball Z voice. Your Proud Wrestling Fan t-shirts, your Wrestling Realm branded t-shirts, even the 10th anniversary t-shirt is up there. And if you're feeling a little strong that day, you can get your Jack Daddy Brian H. Water t-shirt. And so much more.
Why is that so funny?
I don't know, it just is though. But you can head over to WrestlingRealm.com where you can receive all of our merchandise. It's getting cold outside, gentlemen. So hoodies, crew necks, that stuff is available. Where am I at? Okay, there we go. Also, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/wrestling_realm. That's right. For all exclusive shows and bonus material, that is where you want to go. We are in the process of working hard. Brian H does an excellent job, ladies and gentlemen, with Brian H's thoughts and so much more. We're trying to piece together more content, more exclusive things. We have a big plans for our Patreon channel. But if you want to support the brand, you can subscribe for just as low as $1. That's right. We have 2 or 3 tiers, I believe, right now. And we have big plans. So just hold on, be patient with us. Patreon.com. I mean, there's so much on there right now. There's also there's a particular show on there that we cannot air publicly. But if you subscribe, you can hear that story. That's right. Brian H got heat. Patreon.com/wrestling_realm. You know what, Brian H, the person you talk about in that Patreon story reminds me a lot of Tony Khan, which we're going to get into tonight.
Wow, that was a good one.
It was, right? Nice segue.
One time.
Thank you.
I would have said the gunshots, but just because
Yes.
they sound like that.
We gotta get. That's okay. We'll get new gunshot voices. But listen, I guess it's time for me to change back to our last, to our previous advertisement.
You could have just went into it, but you had to bring it up.
See, I thought I was trying to be sensitive. I didn't know how you were going to respond to it. But if you were looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, oh boy, that's rough. Head to SeatGeek.com where you can use promo code Wrestling Realm to save yourself $20 on any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's right. Yes, sir.
A shout out.
That's right. We got people using the code.
Yeah, we definitely. I just gave him a shout out yesterday on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, but shout out to Christopher. He used the code, said that he used it to go to game 1 of the ALDS right here in Baltimore. And because he used the code, he ain't get in trouble at home. He was able to save some money and get under that price range that his wife had preferred, and he was able to enjoy game 1, which I have to say, I went last minute decision, and the atmosphere was electric. But shout out to Siki, because I saw everybody loud with it, but I saw like 3 or 4 people use the code. So thank you.
Well, look at that. The realm just trying to keep people out of trouble. We're doing so much more. So definitely head over to SeatGeek.com. Remember, promo code Wrestling Realm. Save yourself $20 if you have never used this promo code before. It's the first time for everything. So I think it's a great time for you to use promo code Wrestling Realm. You know what they should also use it for? WWE's holiday tour is coming up soon, gentlemen.
Bro, you must have read my mind because
because we're brothers and we're in sync. Not like the group, but like in sync.
Facts. I got a DM. You know what? Yeah, I got a DM the other day. Somebody asking for a discount, and I said, my first thought, to be honest with you, was, why is people asking me for discounts like I work for WWE? Then I said, wait a minute.
Hollywood.
A light bulb went off. Wow. Light bulb went off, man. I said, I sure can. $20 off. Use the promo code Wrestling Realm. And you good to go, because guess what? They wasn't going by themselves. So, no matter what package you get, you're going to spend over $20. You're going to spend over $50, especially if you're taking a child. So I highly recommend it.
There you go. This message has been approved and brought to you by
Hollywood.
Brian H. Waters. I approve this message.
Oh, man.
With that being said, good brothers, yesterday was Tuesday, and trust me, it was an eventful Tuesday, and I can't wait to get into it, but something else also happened on Tuesday. As a matter of fact, something always happens on Tuesday.
Heartbreak.
Championship Culture, the newest, latest, and greatest show and brand to the Wrestling Realm Network on YouTube.com/Wrestling Realm. Brian H. Wood is sporting his latest Championship Culture in
custom made.
Woo! Custom made.
I listened to Ric Flair. I ain't finished it yet, but he was speaking to my guy Chris Van Vliet. Shout out to Chris, good dude.
Chris is he really is a good guy, man. He's followed me on social media and stuff like that, and just he is really down to earth, man. I definitely appreciate Chris Van Vliet
in person. He's jacked. You talking about somebody who's jacked. I'm like,
when
hey, bro, I seen him in LA. But he had a great interview with Hulk Hogan, which was phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm enjoying the Ric Flair one, and Flair talked about just being Flair, custom made this, custom made that, living the gimmick, so I had to have a custom made Championship Culture shirt.
I wonder how disappointed the Belt King was when you finally came and got your tea, and he couldn't use it for his shenanigans. Him and Brother Hugh, the super producer of Championship Culture, which we're about to get into this week's episode, has been, man, when you don't come and get something on time with Brandon the guy, goodness gracious, he makes you pay. Man, so it's just, listen, it's turned into all types of shenanigans, and for those who are watching, if you don't believe me, there it is. So if you're not watching, there's a reason. There it is. But Championship Culture this week. Now this was hot off the and crazy part is I had no idea that this was going to be this week's show, but I knew because Brother Brandon was involved. Him and Brother Hugh are always thinking, always got the right mindset.
Yeah, they be
this
cooking.
week's show, Championship Culture, was celebrating and discussing NXT Volume 1, and I got news about something else later today. I'm not gonna speak on it because I don't think I can talk about it. But Brother Brandon, Championship Culture, this week's episode. What did we talk about this week? See,
I don't know if you want to. You can take it off the screen because I got.
No, I purposely waited. I said when you come back from the screen, it's gonna be there. Look at that beauty.
So we talked about in Volume 1 of the latest episode of Championship Culture, which was just called NXT, for a reason.
How fitting.
How fitting, right? And whenever you talk about volumes, it's more than just usually one, especially when you name it one. So be on the lookout for more volumes. And if your eagle-eye viewers might have noticed, the NXT was placed strategically, and below it said every belt had a story. So I kind of wanted to make sure you understood the story behind this belt And I'm trying to hold it a certain way. If you watch the latest episode, you'll see why I'm trying to hold it that way. This is one of the few belts that actually has like a mirror finish. Like you can even see my ring light in it. But all I'm gonna say is if you
And the rest of the belts behind it.
People are pausing the screen right now, like, wait, 1, 2, 3.
like, what do you got? So, yeah, in the latest episode, took a look at and it's 2012 is when it morphed from being a game show to an actual wrestling product. But we're in our third version of this brand, and I think we're seeing a resurgence of what made this so special. So, pay attention to the volumes, and if you pay attention closely, you might be able to know what each volume is going to discuss. So, more volumes are on the way. That's all I'm going to say because he was probably texting me saying, shut up right now. But I can tell you.
The Belt King gets excited and just starts giving his own spoilers away to his own show.
I'm just saying, it's a reason that NXT. Can you put it back on the screen for a second?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, I don't know if you wanted to, if you could tell.
No, so let me just go ahead. There you go. Sorry. Being a bad technical
All I'm going to
director
say is pay attention how the NXT is on when it comes to the volumes. Because it's a reason. It's just called NXT. So
Hold on. I'm paying attention. I'm looking at it because I don't know who's more cryptic, Brother Brandon or Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul. Because he goes, oh, I'm surprised you didn't catch this. I'm surprised you didn't catch that. I'm like, there you go with this again.
So yeah,
I'm literally staying at this NXT like thing. So if you're not watching, you're listening to this. The championship culture thumbnail is being displayed right now, and I'm paying close attention to the Wait a minute. I see the championship culture emblems is on the side of the NXT championship and the NXT logo. Okay, I got it.
and if you pay attention,
Let me see it again. Let me see it again. Okay.
and if you pay attention to the exclusive, you'll know something else. It's a hidden message in each one that's going to come forward in each volume. So be on the lookout. I'm excited for volume 2, which is coming shortly. But like I always say, every belt has a story, and you might want to hear this one.
Oh, this is going to be good. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to go and catch that show, head over to youtube.com/Wrestling Realm and check out the playlist Championship Culture, where you can check out this week's latest episode entitled NXT Volume 1, as well as all the previous episodes of Championship Culture. If you're into belts, belt culture, belt replicas, belt makers, all the above, the Belt King is the man. He has been a true asset to the brand. He's been there with us since day one, but now, he has his own show. He has his own lane, his own brand. He's doing amazing things. Like I said, one of my favorite shows. It's rare in 2023 where you go, oh shoot, I got to catch my show. And Championship Culture is definitely one of those shows. So definitely
Especially when it's live.
No, the live shows are definitely really. That's live
He
shows.
tried to take over.
I do. I try to blatantly sabotage the show, and it's not just the live shows that take over. Because guess what? I've got notes.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for this part.
I don't know why he thought I wasn't going to show up, but yes, Championship Culture. I'm not going to go over everything because I want people to go watch the show. But you mentioned that you thought that the greatest feud over the NXT version 1.5. I say 1.5 is because, originally started with the scratch logo and then went into the network logo. Is that safe for me to say, Mr. Belt King?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like this could be one.
Listen to me. As soon as we start getting some more sponsors for these shows, we're going to start having these segments more often. Because you know what? I think I do have a bone to pick with you, sir. Thank you, Brian H. Ladies and gentlemen, super producer Brian H. Take a bow, brother. It doesn't get any better than that. You said, my good friend, that you thought that the best feud over the NXT Championship version 1.5 was Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, first of all, NXT has so many home runs. It's hard to it's like you got to just pick one per season. Like if I'm in a season of this, season of that, I don't think there's ever been a bad feud, even the early years. Like Bo Dallas versus Adrian Neville at Takeover 1 was even really, really good. But absolutely. I disagree with you a little bit. I didn't disagree with you. I just have a preference because I don't disagree with that. I really don't. But I have a preference. I, for one, believe that let me make this statement because you didn't say it on the show, and I was curious as to why. But I'm gonna go on and say it because I'm controversial. Controversy creates cash. Kevin Owens is the greatest NXT star to ever hold NXT version 1 and version 1.5. That's my first statement.
Hmm.
You didn't pick a person. First of all, why are you ducking smoke? You ducking smoke, brother Brandon? Because you didn't say this guy is the greatest person to ever held this title. You talked about the greatest feud, which I thought is very coy of you. I said it's kind of coy. I figured maybe you were saving it for potential volumes 3, 4, 5, and 7. But you
Not 6, which is 3, 4, 5.
no 3, 4, 5, and 7. Now I'm conflicted is because on one hand I think Kevin Owens and Finn Balor is the greatest feud for that title. And I took into account certain things like their impact for the brand, what they both did for NXT. Because I think Finn and Kevin Owens is probably the most recognizable NXT superstars for overall for like what they did for the brand, drawing power, crossover appeal, so on and so forth. And then also what they both went on to do after they left NXT. One of the few guys, because Vin Man didn't, everybody didn't adapt well. But the other one was Samoa Joe versus Finn. Samoa Joe to me is another NXT staple. Like I said, it's hard to choose, man. It's like picking your own children. It's just you got favorites, but just like you really can't choose a favorite. Kevin Owens match in NXT Takeover Brooklyn Brown H. Is that true? The ladder match?
Yeah. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brooklyn was fired, and then the NXT Takeover. Did they go back to Brooklyn? No. What was the one with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor in the cage match?
That wasn't a cage match when they did it in Japan.
No,
that's
when.
match.
Yeah.
That's
Whenever
when he got back in Japan.
I don't think that was a. I
The
think they did that
cage
in
match
house,
was
didn't they?
was that a Madison Square? No, that wasn't Madison Square Garden. I can't remember what that was. It was somewhere. It was a big arena, wasn't it?
I don't think that it was. A part of me feel like it is. Part of me feel like it was. I
Yo,
don't think.
Micah, chill.
Yeah. So
It's Beast of the East.
it wasn't Beast of the East, was it?
I don't think
That's
that was a
Japan.
cage.
No,
No.
that's when Kevin Owens and Finn Balor squared off, right?
Right.
Correct.
Anyways, but it
That's when
was
Finn took it from him when he had the full body paint on the front and the back.
yeah. But yes, but sorry, the cage match. The cage match between had a brain fart. Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. So yeah, that's those are my notes from Championship Culture. So everybody else, send your notes to Championship Culture too. We have a
So let me address one thing that you stated. If you pay attention to Championship Culture, right?
I got him revved up. Here he is.
And I'm gonna just say, go back and look at the NXT North American Championship. That had a formula for a reason. This has a different formula for another reason. And I said the best rivalry out of that version for a reason. And the reason that I said it, and I didn't give my top, because how many superstars held that belt?
It was quite a bit. I'm not going to deny it.
It was only 10. It was only 10, right?
That's a lot. Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying there was a lot in from 2012 to about 2000. What was it?
Whenever Paige got jammed up for doing what she did.
So anyway, I'm gonna shift gears. When all the volumes are said or done, you'll get a top tier list.
Okay.
But the greatest feud in that one, and I don't know if you paid attention, because it, just like Dwayne says, the storyline, the match, everything around that was more impactful because it was becoming a bigger brand. We had Bobby Roode coming from TNA, who was, let's just say, the top guy, right? And how's this top guy in that small pond going to fit into this small pond too, but still felt like a big deal? He came in feeling like he was a huge deal. Even his presentation, just with his music hit, it was like, I need to pay attention to this guy. Everybody else was an indie darling that felt like they were getting their just desserts. And they were getting, yep, this is what you deserve. This is who you've been. You've been that indie darling. We're going to give you the platform. Bobby Roode was different, and so was Shinsuke. But their styles, everything about it, and I think that Shinsuke was the most protected in those promo battles during that time, even better than him and Samoa Joe. They just wanted to wrestle each other. They were just trying to kill each other. He could pull out his King of Strong style, but with him and Bobby, it just was different. It made me pay it. I felt like Bobby was a threat as soon as he said, "I'm taking that title," and I was like, he's going to lose to Bobby. He automatically. Anybody else at the time, Shinsuke would have put up a fight, kept the title, but that's what I'm going to say. So that's why that was the best.
Well, there's that. Once again, I think I had something going for myself, and he just makes me. He has to make sense, and I'm like, this is not fun anymore. Okay.
Don't worry. It's,
When
know
when
what?
you when you put
Volume
it that way,
six
it
is
makes sense.
Volume 6. I'm gonna put that in my notes. It's gonna have you on there, sir.
So what about 4, 5, 4, 5, and 7?
No. They
So-
already planned out, sir.
Ha! Something to
already
look
planned
forward
out.
to.
It
Huh?
probably
Yeah, I'm at to shift 6 because you didn't include 6. So
That's right.
6 is going. I'm gonna see if the realness is available for 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just say the word. You know how I get down. But
Oh yeah.
listen. Pour out the kerosene because there's probably going to be a few hot takes tonight. Brothers, we have one of those shows today as people starting to trickle
Let's do
in.
it.
And the bell has rung. Let's get right into the show. Fastlane. We just had it's weird because it feels like the Tuesday Night Wars overshadowed Fastlane. But
Absolutely.
we're gonna there's still some time to discuss Fastlane, right? Overall, WWE Fastlane premium live event. First and foremost, I want to ask you, good brothers. First, how did you first enjoy the show overall? And then we're going to tap on a few highlights. I have a very, very specific comment about one specific match that really took me for a ride. But I want to see what the good brothers and also what the fans out there listening to. If you're in the chat, please tell us your favorite part about WWE Fastlane. But good brothers, somebody jump in. What do you guys think of Fastlane?
I'll start off. It was solid. I would probably say last on the list of this year's premium live events. Doesn't make it a bad show at all. Just that they've been cooking. And it's been probably daggone near perfect year where there hasn't been that one show where I'm like, bro, that was a waste of time. Or it was whack, you know? Like every show has been, it's quality over quantity, and I think that's what helps. I would say probably my favorite part. I really liked the opening match. I really enjoyed Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Now I know there's a lot of takes about Jey left one tag team to go to another tag team, but this is like we've talked about odd couples here, and this is one that works, especially when you watch the presser. So I really enjoyed this one. So I would say
were they drunk or not, Brian H?
Oh, definitely. they even said it. They had some libations or whatever. Sometimes when you get that way, you have fun and reveal things. So I know that's how they felt. So I enjoyed it.
Let off a little steam there, brother. What about you? What about you, brother Brandon? What did you think about WWE Fastlane this year? What was your take on the show?
I'm gonna be honest. I was a little let down because
Really,
the list this year, every time you don't expect something, you're blown away. So going into Fastlane, I didn't expect anything, and like to Brian's point, it probably was the bottom of the premium live events, and that's not when you have a metrics that they have been on fire all year. It's okay to be the last one because was it enjoyable? Yes. Did I feel like I'm going to remember this? No, I'm going to go back to Backlash before I go to this. I'm even going to go back, I'm going to keep going back to other stuff before I want to see any match on this card again. And the opening match.
Even the main event?
Well, that's what I'm going to say something. You might not, this might be unpopular.
I uploaded all these screenshots of this pay-per-view for no reason.
I feel like the main event and the opener probably could have switched because I would have, as much as Shinsuke was hot going in, and y'all know I'm a Shinsuke guy and I try not to be biased.
I feel like you're about to not be a Shinsuke guy, though, whatever comment you're about to make.
I just really wanted him to win, and I was disappointed. But I feel like under the He Who Shall Not Be Named, Shinsuke wouldn't have got this treatment.
Exactly.
Nor would he have even been in that position. So I just need to say, shut up, Brandon. Be happy that Shinsuke is getting this treatment.
Sure.
But I want, in my selfishness, I want Seth to go away and get healthy if he is dealing with ailments because I want him there for WrestleMania to be in the spotlight.
Yeah,
and if that means, hey, give somebody else the belt let him go rest. What you laughing about?
He said, and then lose the belt to Roman.
No, not the belt. I want him to lose the belt before, and then I want him to challenge Roman if Rock ain't ready.
But so, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was really
Still
disappointed.
drinking the Rock Kool-Aid.
I was disappointed with Io, Oscar, and Charlotte. I thought that
And it's good.
that match would have been so much better. Like I just with those three names.
You
in
know
any
why? Because
combination-
Charlotte's in it.
Huh?
We don't need Charlotte in the match.
But I'm saying
Yes,
with those three
yes, you
names
do.
in a match.
Why?
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I'm not saying you needed her.
Let
But
Brandon
when you
finish,
add her
and
in
I'll
the
explain.
equation- But let's be honest, when you add in the equation, it usually is that was a good match. You know what I mean? But I felt like that should have, what Io and Oscar have done, and even with Charlotte, no matter if you wanted a match or not, they have those matches that you're going to talk about. And I feel like this was a SmackDown match.
Yeah.
You had, first of all, you have to have Charlotte in that match. You cannot give everybody Io Sky versus Oscar for free at Fastlane.
Wait, for free at Fastlane.
Yeah,
First, no, you got to get some more money. First of all,
you got to get more money.
yes. Second of all,
All right.
you see what I'm saying? Like you can't.
interrupt when it's over.
Yeah, you can't.
Because you know winner's face.
Oh boy, you can't do. First of all, you got to save that for whatever big show they're doing in Japan. Like, like you cannot. Charlotte's got to balance it out because they're like, no, well, let's. They said the same thing you said, brother Brandon. Hold on now, this is just Fastlane. Relax. Because I'm telling you, do you think about it? They've been teasing it for a while, but they won't give it to us for a reason. Because if you let those two go unhinged, first of all, they might knock each other's faces off, missing teeth and everything. But no,
Survivor Series. Is it big enough?
Survivor
I don't think
Series.
so.
No,
I
it's
feel
got to be like
Royal Rumble.
or one of those overseas shows, man.
Well, historically, well, no. I would say the last few years, the women's match at the Royal Rumble have been kind of an oversight since they got the Battle Royal. You remember, it used to feel premium because that was.
And that, yeah.
But now that they have their Royal Rumble match, that Royal Rumble match starts to feel like a, filler. So
Yeah,
we
kinda.
gotta wait till WrestleMania or the Japan show.
Or something WrestleMania-esque. You know
Crown
what I
Jewel?
mean? That type show. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
depending on the audience, I feel like whatever audience is going to like appreciate that much. For example, Damian Priest and Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I got
You know what I mean? So like
It had to be in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, like it
Well,
was-
when they got
it was
the
Backlash.
energy wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm referring to. But yeah, I uploaded all these Fastlane thumbnails for no reason. You guys didn't even like the show.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's not that I like it. It's just I don't want to go back and watch it again.
No, to
It
me
was okay.
it was an in your house pay-per-view. It did its job. I had fun. It's an in-between premium event. That's what it was.
Well, let me say this about it.
Go ahead.
No Mercy. I will go watch that before I watch Fastlane again.
What's going on? We're talking about
fair.
NXT right now, man.
I will go watch.
Do you remember?
No Mercy again?
Do you remember us
before-
old? You remember us old grumpy men were talking how we were just like living about just the whole look of NXT, even in the Capitol Sports Complex. We're like, bro, this is not NXT, and even
Talking about the color splatter. 2.0?
not necessarily just the color splatter, but we kind of knew we were like, now we got to wait for a little while for this to kind of catch on. Like we knew it was going to come on, but we were looking at the town like, I don't really
It's too
care
many
about all these
names.
new faces.
What's all these names?
Yeah, and
Everybody
then,
got real first names and last names.
and now we're in here raving about freaking NXT. Talking about you rather watch NXT No Mercy than Fastlane. But here's my 2 cents on the thing, because we'll move on. We'll jump right into the Tuesday Night War. And I stand by this, Brian H. This is your cue. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins was everything that I wanted it to be, with the exception of the fact that Shinsuke did not win. I was just like you brothers. I wanted him to win really, really bad. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably one of the best last man standing matches I have ever seen.
yes.
And with all due respect to The Rock and Mankind and Stone Cold Steve Austin, I would have said this is the best one.
yes.
Even the finish made sense to me so much. Like when I saw how Shinsuke lost, I said, all right, well, that makes sense. Like it wasn't like he wasn't blatantly dominate. Like they both struggled to get to their feet, and Seth just happened to get to his feet first. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, cool. So that way, even in the loss, it doesn't make Shinsuke look weak. He can stay. He can stay established as a top guy. And it goes back to what you said, Brandon. The guy is that at least he's being seen as a credible main event threat. And I understand that sometimes in this business, it's not about everybody being the champion, but at least getting to the place that you're respected as a threat to the championship is because now you can continue to help and build other stars. So he's going to get his hit back against Ricochet. If you think he's about to lose 2 of those matches back to back, it's not going to happen. But, oh man, I loved it. One of my favorite matches from both these gentlemen. I don't know why, it just was. I said, man, it made so much sense. The build was so good. I enjoyed so much of it. And I think both of them delivered 100%. But I'm not even going to get into everything else.
A few months ago, we wasn't even talking about Shinsuke and on a pay-per-view.
Well, we talked about that last week. We said, look how long it only took them a little while to rebuild him as a credible threat. And and with the previous regime, with he whose name should not be mentioned, because every time we mention his name, we have technical difficulties, man. He dropped, like, when you look compared to now, we didn't know it then. We felt it then, but we didn't know it then. He dropped the ball with so much of those NXT talent when they came to the main roster. He had his handful. But like I said, thanks to Triple H, man, he's gone back and he's like booked all those people the right way. Look at
Shayna Baszler, and Rhea
Baszler
about to cook.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're going to kill each other.
If they go back and relive that feud from NXT, and just even if they show a video package, because remember, he could really stick it to Tony Khan if he really wanted to and say, "Hey, remember this match? This is the one that killed your ratings."
Yeah. See, there we go. Shots fired again. You might hit the gun sounds again, Brian H. Sheesh. Shots fired. It's a lot of those. A lot of those going on. Duck for cover.
Nah, you know what? This was.
Yeah.
That slap in the face. But it honestly, like I said, man, I don't know.
Change the NXT colors to black and green, man, because what they did last night. I know we'll get into it.
No, man, no. Change the NXT colors because you know what? Screw
That's why I
it.
got green, man.
No, we just might as well.
NXT 4.0, the black and green version.
I don't know if we're gonna get flagged or copyrighted, but screw it. Man, NXT decided to show off on the same day that AEW Dynamite had to be moved to a Tuesday, and decided to have AEW Title Tuesday. AEW went head-to-head with NXT and DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. The founding fathers of NXT and the current father running the show decided to show off. We had one of those
Grand Slam, you mean?
Yeah, that's what it was. we had one of those nights where I felt like NXT was restored. They had old superstars, they had new superstars, they had legends in the house, and most importantly, they had the fans. We are here today on this show about to have a full-blown conversation about freaking NXT. Gentlemen, is it safe to say that NXT is back?
Oh, yeah. And you know what's so beautiful about that show?
So 2 months they've been back.
The NXT kids cooked. And the other legends was accessories. You had Asuka there. Yeah, she went in there, wrestled Roxanne. And you know, okay. People, you know what? I'm not getting into the ratings talk because we saw it blew out the water and people thought they were talking about demos. Again, like I said before, leave that to the experts right here. We all got degrees in television. We can break that stuff down to you.
Yeah, we took a freaking class on it. Good God.
Exactly. You know, so
shout out to Brian that should let me use his book. You're a real one, brother.
You already know. You know, but I sat there and I said, okay, Roxanne and Asuka, they going against the best match of the whole night. Let's not kid ourselves. Strickland and Danielson, they was the match of the night, right? Of everything. But it's not about the wrestling, folks. It's about the storytelling.
It's about the entertainment. It's the show.
All right. We got people. All the women went to Asuka and was giving her a thank you for coming. I was like,
right. That's what I was, yep.
Showing respect.
Not only did she wrestle, but going backstage, talking to the people. And I'm like,
she had her own locker room. She felt like a bona fide star. The greatest
that's how it's supposed to be.
Champion.
Like,
didn't they say that?
They definitely did say that. And who's to say she like who else is not like
reminded you that she's undefeated. So if you do decide one day to pull the trigger on somebody, that's going to make them
immediately.
Asuka goes down there and beat. And let's just say, you know, Viola Carey, you know, she beats her.
Right.
Instantly. So you saw that, but you also had, you know, Dom Mysterio. Let's not kid ourselves. Now, y'all know I am a Dom Mysterio fan. He is in my top 10 favorite wrestlers currently.
Mine too. I love him.
But there's no reason he should be beating Ian Dragunov. Either that, and he didn't. And that's what I love, because it's like he didn't. They went out there, they had a great match, and then boom, he lost, because that's one of the best wrestler on NXT, one of the best wrestlers in the world. You know what I mean? And he went to school, because we said this before right here. Dom is technically like, he would, if it wasn't for the Judgment Day and his dad, like if it wasn't for the storytelling, he would be on NXT. So it made it credible. And for Dragunov, it's credible because you just be a main roster guy, a guy who is a champion. So overall, just a great show. And we'll touch more into it. But I have to say, compared to AEW, man, and I said this on Patreon, I don't know if anybody got a chance to check it, but I'm gonna reveal this right now. My number one and 1A wrestlers have been restored back to Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart.
What?
You don't check the feed, brother. Goodness gracious.
Hold on. Time out, brother.
Just dropped the bomb.
What are you saying?
Exactly what you think I'm saying.
Listen. We got a lot to get into. We gotta go ahead. I'm shocked right now. I'm all over the place right now.
I had to, and this is why y'all subscribe to Patreon. I had to come to this conclusion. I've been fighting this for a couple months now.
Oh no.
That it's Daniel Bryan, but it's not Bryan Danielson.
Oh man. I'm listening, brother. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Allow me to just take this a little bit TV 14.
Okay, that's all right.
Did y'all watch the game, the TV show?
Yeah. It's
Did you watch the one with Malik and Laura London? When she was Kira, right? Remember when they hooked up and he kept saying he didn't feel it? Yeah. He was crying.
Oh. Yeah.
That's the equivalent of me watching a Bryan Danielson in AEW.
Oh,
man. You remember?
Wow.
Now, just for context.
What is going on right now, man?
Just for context. when y'all see what colors I bleed, right?
Yes, sir. Black and orange.
Now, if you remember, when we watched him win the championship, I loudly said this was better than the Orioles winning the World Series. When he won that championship at WrestleMania 30, and I remember
In all fairness, brother, I don't think we thought they always had a chance anytime soon to win the World Series. So I can understand why.
Well, I did say it was better than the Ravens and the Lakers winning the championship.
That's true.
Great that feeling was, right? Even when he came back as Daniel Bryan, I even said that if he'd have beat Roman Reigns, I remember I was on Britt Water's show. It was me and I forgot the other gentleman's name, but we was on her show right before WrestleMania 36 or 37, and I said, man, if he y'all ain't gonna be able to stop hearing the end of it if he becomes champion. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm watching AEW, and I'm like, I'm just not getting that same feeling no more. And last night solidified as great as the match was.
You know why?
Because it's this. I admit I am a Daniel Bryan fan, but Bryan Danielson is a good wrestler. Even when I met him via Zoom, it was like, cool. It wasn't that feeling like Brandon had when he met Chris Jericho. Or I had when I met Bret the Hitman Hart, and he signed my Winged Eagle. Shout out to Dr. D.
You just keep bringing it up, don't you? Just keep throwing it in my face. No, it's okay. I'm happy for you.
But it's like, and that's what I said. It's the full package, the sports entertainment. You know.
That's what I was gonna say. Daniel Bryan had stories. Bryan Danielson just goes out there and doesn't wrestle.
And we're talking about Bret Hart, who people think is boring, which I don't.
No, that's disrespectful.
If you look at like Bret was an inspiration. You know, I got a chance to talk to Dax and Cash earlier. Was that this year? Last year, and they said like, you know, for them,
it's about FTR, right?
Yeah. They said the reason why, because it was the joke on, you know, they was trying to figure out which one of us or the MacMania crew has said that Bret Hart was overrated. It was Flobo. And that's my boy. Shout out to Flobo, but he
little
was
bit,
like,
little bit of heat, buddy.
oh no. I know he happy right now. Diamondbacks winning, but he said that
Somebody's got to win. Jeez.
right, and he even brought it up. He was like, man, he said when Cash, I think it was Cash, said, man, didn't really have a father, or father wasn't there, and Brett was like right there, and he was inspiration. He said, man, I could crap for that man's dreams, but like Brett was that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I like good wrestling, but give me storytelling any day. Especially when you got a guy like Braun Breaker coming out there. Braun Breaker's gone to another level, and Undertaker had to put him in this place.
And that's a story. Isn't it crazy how that by itself is a story?
Just like that.
Just that fast, man. And we saw it. So listen, we're all over the place. We're gonna take the fans on a journey with us. You guys ready to go on this journey?
Yeah.
This is what. There we go. There's a few comments.
Yeah, that's true.
Just a few comments for the fans to see. But we're
They said
going.
Vince protected him. I will. God dang it.
Uh-oh.
Well, Tony Khan, we might be safe because Tony Khan, somebody even, shout out to Seahawk. Seahawk said, somebody take Buddy's phone because he over here right now on Twitter dropping clues bombs saying, that, pretty much making allusions that he who shall not be named is doing things like taking shot or shooting his shot. And that was his word. Somebody said he's taking shots of it. Well, Vince always shoots his shot. That's how he uses influence to shoot his shot.
Oh man. Okay. Woo, there's a lot to unpack there. Let's. With that being said, let's take people on the journey. We're gonna revisit NXT. We're gonna revisit Dynamite. So I got notes. See, I was ready today, brothers. Look, come on now. Clickety clow. I'm ready. All right. I keep shuffling the paper because I'm trying to get like the sound effect into the microphone. Brandon, I'm sorry if this is annoying you.
Nah, it's good. It's audio candy.
Okay, good. So I'm glad it's the right audio candy. So NXT starts off with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes makes his triumphant not return, but his arrival to the Performance Center, and it was special. And this is the difference between AEW and NXT and WWE. We'll start right there. Everything that WWE has a story. It reminds me of Brandon the Guy in Championship Culture. Every belt has a story. Everything they do is with a purpose. It has a story. So let's start at the very beginning with the first story they told as soon as the show started, right? Cody Rhodes makes he finally makes his way to the Performance Center. Now, that's a place that he's always loathed. He's always had a hateful relationship with the Performance Center. It's because that's the house that Dusty Rhodes built.
Yep.
And it has been.
He didn't get to eat at the table.
And he didn't get it. That's perfectly said. He didn't get to eat at the table. And we know that has always bothered him. It's always rubbed him the wrong way. And he said it. I never thought I would be here, but I am. So that's the first story they tell. Cody Rhodes showed up to the Performance Center. Mind you, the day before Dusty's birthday. I believe Dusty Rhodes, was his birthday today?
Yeah, his birthday was today. Shout out
Today.
to him. Shout out to Cal. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. Shout out to Ricochet.
Quite a
All
few
the
birthdays today. Yeah.
And Cardi B, another wrestling fan.
There you go. Yeah, she's definitely a massive wrestling fan. And he shows up as with a few announcements. It was supposed to be one announcement, but he showed up with a few announcements. And he also made the one. He announced that for one, that there would be a male version of the Top Prospect tournament. I don't. They call it the male breakouts. The breakout.
Breakouts.
To me, it's just it's a concept that they took from Ring of Honor, the Top Prospect tournament they used to do every year. Just an opportunity to put guys in the tournament, girls in the tournament, and introduce them to the wrestling audience and give them a quick rub. So they announced that they're going to do a male one. They did. They've had success with the female tournament. They've decided they're going to do a male one, which I think is excellent. He also made the announcement that the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic will return. You know, I remember the first one we watched where Samoa Joe and Finn Balor won the first one, correct? I believe they did. And
wow, that is true.
Yeah, that was before they got the beefing. They were they
that's
won.
to
They
set
won
it up, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And
Y'all said it was a tie.
wow. So you're into now, Uncle Raj. So he made that announcement, and then he made another announcement that he would be the guest general manager, and he would make comments all night like, "Ooh, this booking stuff isn't easy," which is something that his father did for years for the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions, to be specific, as well as early years in WCW World Championship Wrestling. So it was good to see Cody. It was good to see him in that role, and it was good to see him, kind of in the space.
My man was in the suit, fresh to death.
You know, Cody Rhodes always stays suited and booted. So what you guys think about how the show kind of started off? Because it started off kind of hot.
I liked it. I really liked it because, like, I mean, and I know I'm programmed to when it's a big show
Sure.
to give me you know, kind of that welcome, that feeling of, you know, welcome to the show, you know, what opening promo, the opening monologue. I like that. Like, I like when wrestling start off like that.
Yeah, I thought it was first of all, it's like you start your TV off and then the first thing you play is the hottest theme song out there in professional wrestling, especially for the WWE audience. There's a number of different things that happened that I just want to discuss. First of all, we knew the show was going to be insane. We knew that. To me, I know we were in the group chat and we were discussing it. We were calling NXT's night different names and stuff like that. We kept calling it like NXT Homecoming and NXT WrestleMania. All these different things is because
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam. There you go. Grand Slam in your face. We were giving it all these different names is because that's what it felt like. It felt like a homecoming. The only person I was missing was probably Kevin Owens, but you know it was such a fun show.
Yeah.
I like how, like you said, Brian, Ace, where the young talent had a chance to kind of, you saw NXT in its proper setting, right? This is a good show, Michael, Triple HR. We know that it's a developmental brand, but we also know that it's a third brand. So how do you tell both of those stories, or how do you keep both of those identities so you don't take the product out of context, right? So when you see a new face and then wrestle another new face, you're not like, oh, this is dumb, I don't know who they are, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you understand, like, hey, these are the superstars that paved the way for you. So now they've come back to visit because, one, they're putting over the atmosphere of the show. You know, John Cena said, thank you for allowing this place to be somewhere where the main roster wants to come and visit. So it makes NXT look like must be TV. Like it's probably 200 people in that whole place, but they make it, the atmosphere is so small in your face. Like it originally started, even at Full Sail. You know, it provides a different type of environment for wrestling fans, especially, and that's how it comes across on TV. So there's a couple of things that happened throughout the night that I was like, man, this is just great television. It's because it forwarded storylines. It helped to add to some of the characters of these developing characters and stars in NXT that are trying to kind of catch their footing. But it also kind of opened our eyes to a lot of different aspects of the show. So we're going to discuss a few things on the show outside of the matches that you guys enjoyed. So let's just start. I'll start with one of the things that caught my attention immediately. Paul Heyman.
Bro.
Paul freaking Heyman. The subtleties that they pull off every time they're on TV always, and I blame Bray Wyatt. He had us going down that rabbit hole, so now I'm always just like this. And I love how they had him in the back and the cameras. And it's an old TNA trick because TNA used to do it when Eric Bischoff came along. When him and Jason Hervey added the whole backstage segments where it's like this whole fly on the wall where cameras happen to catch what's going on backstage. We saw that element incorporated to NXT, which I think was fantastic because we saw Paul Heyman backstage with Ava Raine. Everybody knows she's The Rock's daughter. Everybody knows that her group pretty much got released. And we saw him pointing at the Bloodline phone case, and
you know she dropped her last name.
She just Ava now, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so check somebody on Twitter.
So add her to the list of Biggie Langston, Adrian Neville, and
Antonio
Cesaro. Like, are we missing anybody else?
Biggie Langston.
Yeah,
Matt
Biggie,
Riddle got his
Langston.
name back, and what's the other one that got his name?
Andrade Cien Almas.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Andrade Cien Almas. I still call him Andrade Cien Almas. But
yeah, definitely for the culture of soccer. Definitely noticed the gray, and I love how it's been slow burn too.
Yeah, because he's trying to see he's selling how stressed he is in the situation.
The tribal chief's not there, but he'll be there Friday to get everything in order.
And they sold that too. So how did you guys like the tease of Paul Heyman kind of making his rounds? One of the things that I noticed he did, even not only with Ava Raine, but he also was doing the same thing with Braun Breaker. One of the biggest things that I noticed, and we study this when it comes to television, is when you tell the audience something without saying anything. and I saw a comment on X or Twitter. I'm not letting it go just yet. I keep calling it X, but it's,
When I
don't
put
know.
in dot, I got to type in Twitter, so we're going to call it Twitter.
Yeah, we'll call it Twitter. Mom call it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I always notice is that somebody said it. You saw the way Paul Heyman was talking to Braun Breaker and reminding him of his history, something that in the previous regime people kind of went away from. And we'll talk about family history, another one in a minute. But Paul Heyman, you saw him just kind of planting the seeds and Braun Breaker and just listening to him. And somebody says it like, man, Paul Heyman's out here recruiting again. Like he's trying to find his next meal ticket. And I'm like, that makes sense because that's what Paul Heyman usually does. And it's those subtleties. And I was like, man, it makes sense as to why he's down here is because you never know what can happen in Bloodline. And he likes working with a certain type of talent. But what are some of the moments?
Did the Ava part happen on TV or was that just social?
No, it happened on TV. I saw it. It was on TV.
All right, because I'm bouncing. I got 3 screens on, and then I was streaming. Shout out to the TWG Universe. So I'm like, whoa, because you know what happened? That's when the second home run happened.
Okay.
And I remember hitting the group chats with the video. So I was like, did this? Because they not away from just throwing stuff on social during the show. Again, we saw that during the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Oh yeah.
Every time we running up to this pausing the TV screens. But when I saw that, I said, "Oh boy, so this is how you kind of tease it, maybe." Because who did the same thing? Solo Sikoa.
Yep.
He was I'm not with the bloodline. I'm doing my own thing. Now you got Ava. And what better way? Y'all can say let it go, right? But what better way than to really get in the Rock's head if you got his baby girl on your side? And that's opening up the doors, even if you just tease it because let's say you don't have him locked in for 40, right? But you got this safeguard because now if you need to go there, you can go there, and that adds to it's so much. But like you say, even with Braun Breaker, because now Braun was somebody that I had penciled in to beat Roman eventually, but then he regressed, and I'm like, all right, that sounds crazy. But now, I also didn't think Roman would hold the title 1,000 days. But again, like you say, you're looking for that type of star. That could be something down the line. Look, what did his biggest line to Roman Reigns was during that first matchup with Brock Lesnar is you're the right person with the right look at the wrong time. Fast forward years later,
right?
Look whose side he's on.
Yeah, that's true though. Paul Heyman always up to no good, but I think he played his part very well.
I like this one right here. You should have said, I really hope you're better with fractions than your uncle. But in all fairness, though, Daniel, Scott Steiner is a shoot mathematician, like a math genius.
Math.
Did you see the TikTok videos of that?
No, I did not.
So there's a guy, a teacher on TikTok and YouTube, who basically breaks down Steiner math. And said that Scott Steiner actually cheated himself because he had more of a percentage of winning the match.
Wow.
But yeah, they said I believe he's the if you go on TikTok, I gotta find a video and send it. But I do believe, like I heard that he is like, I'm not sure if he's a necessarily a math teacher, but you gotta remember Steiner Brothers from the University of Michigan.
Of course,
so,
yeah. That's a high academic school,
right? They ain't no dummies.
No doubt. So another one of the things that caught my attention, Brother Brandon, is it me, or are they kind of teasing more stuff between Melo and Trick Wiliams? We saw John Cena show up backstage. He's there with Carmelo Hayes. He's there with Trick Wiliams. They talking, and Carmelo Hayes seems to be like back to his normal self. He's not stressing out as much. He's like, yeah, man, we're gonna get my title back, and we're gonna get yours back too. And Trick Wiliams is just looking at him. He's got this look on his face, and you can tell it's bothering him. And Cena's looking at Trick Wiliams like, hey man, come on man, y'all are boys. You good? And then Trick Wiliams eventually goes to him, man, like when did you know it was your time? Because Trick Wiliams has gone out there. First of all, Trick Wiliams is probably about to be he's about to break out. Like he's a long way to go in the ring, but I'm telling you, they're getting that man ready. They are grooming him to be it. But I'm sitting there watching the exchange between the two, and I'm telling you, he's bothered by this whole notion of him being a sidekick. I smell a heel turn coming very, very soon. Once again, like you said, Brother Brandon, in the chat, they're planting these seeds, man. And I'm like,
I don't think it's. I think you missed the bigger picture.
well, what's the bigger picture? Tell
I'm
me.
waiting for this.
Every person that Carmelo has wrestled, Trick
Mhm.
Williams has wrestled too.
Yeah.
Every person that's been in this title feud, Carmelo and Trick have both wrestled. One lose or draw, that's the one story we telling, right? And remember, Trick was the one that said, I need to go do my own thing, right?
Mhm.
He wanted to prove it on his own. He won the North American title. He lost it on his own, right?
Yeah.
So now, look who, after Ilyanov won, here comes Corbin, right? Oh, look at me. I'm coming to get a title shot. Dijak was like, no, you're not.
That was tough though. That was
Right,
tough.
but now think about
That
it. You
was
got
tough.
Ilyanov, Dijak, Corbin, Mello, Braun Breaker, and now Trick. You got your main event for the next year already mapped out in these equations. And Trick don't have to turn, but Trick though is not going to sit back and let Carmelo go before him because let's be honest, Trick is getting over because, and I say it every time the brother here, as soon as a superstar realize how to get the fans in on you and to do something, it could be something. Bobby Lashley with that stupid.
No, I hate that.
Because
That's
he
just
got
dumb.
people in to do it, it became like his thing.
Yeah.
Like, and what are they saying? Whoop that Trick. When Carmelo come out, they just cheer. Oh, look, it's him. That's his gimmick. He's him. I'm fearful that Carmelo has lost his mouthpiece and his voice in Trick Williams. That's
Hold on. Let me throw this up there for you. Cause you cooking.
Here we go. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here
So
we go.
I'm scared that he's going to get lost in the shuffle and become another good wrestler because his promos aren't hitting as much. And remember, he lost gracefully to Ilyanov, shook his hand, and what did he do now? What do you do with him now? And I don't want to say he's going to get into that. Braun Breaker had to do something different to get back into our limelight.
Yep.
Trick
Yeah,
is
that's
already
true.
doing all that stuff. He got the crowd.
Melo
He
looking
got his
very
gimmick.
AEW-ish.
Melo
looking very AEW-ish.
Right. This him gimmick ain't too hot without his mouthpiece anymore. So now the mouthpiece is doing his own thing. He got the crowd to say, whoop that Trick. He's getting on Raw. Remember, he was backstage with the title,
That's all it
introducing himself. The same thing Carmelo was doing in the stands and having a match. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Trick Williams appear other places more than we do Mello.
Bro, I said that though. Didn't I say that a couple weeks ago? I said, man, I think Trick Williams.
Bro, you said that a couple months ago. Like,
I've been saying it for a minute. I know talent when I see it, bro. Remember, I said it. I said I think Trick Williams has a better upside than him. Like
when you saw the gear change, the main event gear.
I saw it, and like that's the first time I saw him in
to the shorts.
Right. It's the first time I saw him in like wrestling gear outside of his like open up shirt, and and I was just like, I watched him and I was like, okay, I think I can take you seriously as far as your look is concerned.
And we was in DC.
And he had red long pants. I was like, something's missing with him.
Yeah.
Remember, I kept saying something's not right. Then they changed him. I think they let him be more of a confident person and arrogant. Let that come out naturally. And then what is he doing? He's trying to figure out, when is it my time? I've been back fiddle. I've been his kid hype man
and
for the last year.
And that's his story. That is his story. We are watching this man struggle with that in so many different situations. And I'm watching it like, yo, I don't know how to take this. Like, I'm like, is he going to get mad or what? What's going on? And I think it was.
Yeah, cool remember he's a former athlete, and that's the way, like you said, he kind of carried himself. Of like, I'm not a number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's confident, but it's going to come off as being arrogant and cocky. But he's just confident.
After he graciously took that role, though, like he's like, look, I did my part, and he did, and his whole thing was everybody got comfortable with him being in that space, and
I'm telling you now that, and I was talking to Dennis King earlier, and he was saying, Carmelo goes to the main. Carmelo goes up to the main roster. I was like, why?
To do what?
There's nothing for him to do, and NXT is at the point now where you can have people that will have feuds there and still be as important, still be seen, versus you got people on Raw and SmackDown that we haven't even seen or did anything with.
Yep.
Because it's a it's a healthy roster. I'm not gonna say bloated. It's a healthy roster that with a 5-match review, everybody ain't getting on it. But
Bingo.
on a 12-match, maybe Big Four, you might get a little bit more in there. But we're gonna have something on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown that's pay-per-view worthy at least once a month.
You know the crazy part is though, I really see how like Shawn Michaels is taking his time with certain talent, and I don't know. I'll save it. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna save it. We're gonna move on.
Well, yeah, he's taking his time and then figuring out what works for him. Like let's be honest. And I said this to, I think I said it to you. No, I said it in a group message. Look what he's doing with the women. The women
He
match.
I don't know how to. I don't know. Before you go, please. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like for me, I'm not the biggest like women's wrestling fan. Like just because they're women, like I just like wrestling. I'm not discriminatory, but for some reason, NXT has found a way to develop these young ladies to the point where I recognize them now. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, I get her. Like Tiffany Stratton. I didn't get her 2 months ago. I get her now. But go ahead.
Yeah, and he's figured out a way to make. Why did Lola Vice? I'm sorry, Lola Vice, and had Elektra Lopez at a ringside. Remember Elektra Lopez? We was all mad that she didn't get called up with her boys. She had to stay there, right?
Yep.
And Danny Palmer, how was that match better? And I'm gonna say this, everybody gonna think I'm hating on the other company. Their match was better than some AEW women's matches that I've seen.
Lola Vice went out there showing off, and she was pretending like she wasn't. Like she was
and
out there
was a
trying to work.
breakout tournament. They had time. They didn't have a whole bunch of like. It wasn't a spot fest. It was a decent wrestling match. I said, okay, what are they going to do next? And I feel like I would watch that combination again on any show because they were just going to keep building. And he found a way. Everybody doesn't look the same. Everybody don't have the same appearance. Everybody don't have the same appeal. Every person on that roster is different, and it's not just you say, "Oh, come into the ring now, the real Dwayne Allen versus Brian H. Waters."
Right.
It doesn't feel like it's just a cookie cutter. It's a gimmick. It's a presence. It's almost like okay, what is she going to do? Like even backstage with Axiom sitting there, you probably went to go see who's the guy in the mask because he was talking to Dirty Dom, and that was what's his name? That said he is disrespectful to no. Was that Nathan Frazier? No, what's his name? William Regal's son. That was his son, right?
Yeah.
What did he go by?
His name.
I don't remember his working name.
Why can't I think of his name? But you know what I mean? It made you feel like, well, who's that? Let me go see what they can do. I feel like every single person has a purpose. They're not just.
But that's like I was going to say that your tagline is every belt has a story, and that's the thing. Like every wrestler has a story. When you sit back and you try to think about, well, you know why you want to see this person. It's what Vince Russo did right during the Attitude Era. Everybody loves to like get on like Russo and say stuff, but I go back like I actually watched a couple episodes of Sunday Night Heat recently. And one of the things I noticed, like everybody out there had a story, and that's the thing. When I look at the women, there's a different story for all of them. A lot of them do intertwine. The same with the men. Like you just said earlier about the main event for NXT, you got 6 different probably more different combinations for the next year. And you remember, from a television standpoint, we don't know what that TV deal looked like for NXT, how much longer it's going to be on USA. So that the show has to be good to keep it on because they don't want to just put it on Peacock. You know, we want more eyeballs on it. You want to be on USA on Tuesday nights. Or
especially such a random night.
And think about it. Even look at Thea Hale. I was a big fan of her. And now the whole thing with Chase U, it's like, okay, let me see what she's going to do. Even though she wrestled a little bit, I'm like, let's see what she's going to do next. I'm vested in this story now.
It's insane. Like I said, there's so many things that they're doing, and I think to me it goes back to the comment that Shawn Michaels had made before when he said it seems like that NXT was probably the most like the Attitude Era since then, and I think that's kind of what he was referring to when you guys are talking about just. It's not about the product or the popularity, but it's about the fact that they have taken time to make sure that it doesn't
Charlie
matter.
Dempsey, thanks, Big Tex.
Okay, there you go.
Everybody
Charlie
Dempsey
Dempsey
at the same
we were
time.
like, what's his working name? But he kind of made it clear like everybody plays a part, and
But who the heck is
everybody.
Nathan Frazier then?
Nathan Frazier, it was is one of the UK guys.
You're not lying.
Yeah. I just read the comment.
But
It was respectful.
yeah, it was.
was.
If you're watching, please. So, but when Shawn Michaels was talking about the ad, like this is the most is it's the closest thing to the Attitude Era. I think he was referring to how it didn't matter where you are on the card, everything has a purpose, and it's not diminished. It's just that everything still had a role. Everybody, every segment, every star that's on TV that's earned their way into the mix, kind of has been made important, so it stands out. But NXT's night will kind of also just continue to, wow, Seth Rollins light. NXT will continue to blaze trails, and there's a new superstar in town that talk about blazing his own trail, and we have been teased for a little bit with this promo, with this look, and we were like, oh man, and we and they knew that we knew who it was. It's because they did subtle things and blatant things to show, and we were convinced that this man, Brian Pillman Jr., who has first of all a new look and a taper shape up, so him and Trick Wiliams got the same barber, was showing up to NXT. Now, I remember telling you brothers a while ago, I said, man, if there's anybody that would benefit the most from NXT, it would be like a Brian Pillman Jr. I saw him when he varsity
I want to
blondes.
clarify. You said about 3 years ago.
It was that long ago I said that?
Yes.
Bro, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
It was
right when AEW first debuted on.
I was gonna say it was
I
out of
remember
the
that.
MLW into the AEW transition.
Yeah, because it was
'Cause
when
first
he
you
got
said-
stuck with his tag team partner.
Yeah, when they were the varsity blondes. And it's like,
I think you said it around that time because you was like, I don't get it or something like that. You was like, he would benefit from NXT.
Yeah, first they needed Jericho like a mentor, but then
yeah, it's crazy because I know talent. I don't know. I can't call it. But here's the interesting part of this. This wasn't any ordinary promo. It was kind of confusing in a lot of ways. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because when they sold it to us, we're like, clearly it's Brian Pillman Jr. We're seeing subtle things like the tiger shirt that his father wore. We're seeing his hair. We're seeing the goatee. We're seeing WCW Saturday Night, where he pretty much primarily made a name for himself the most.
Yup.
You know what I mean? We saw all these things. We were like, oh, it's clearly Brian Pillman Jr.
Videos of second and third generation stars.
Right. Just it once again, they were telling us something without telling us anything. And then they finally make us wait until this Tuesday night, and Brian Pillman comes on there, and he pretty much cuts like a backwards promo. Brian Pillman Jr. starts to talk about his father and his life in the business and how people said he was this, that, and the third. And then immediately it takes a completely different shift. He goes, I can't stand the fact that I keep hearing that. I never knew that man. I was like, what? He's like,
he said that. I said, oh.
He said, I've tried everything from lacrosse to football. He said, I even went to college and got a degree. He said, but the fact is, this is in my blood and it bothers me. I was like, and I'm sitting there confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Why? You look like your dad. You're talking like your dad. You look unhinged like your dad. And then all I see is now you're burying your dad. No pun intended, respectfully. And he's like, I don't want to be known as that name anymore. Like, I'm going to bury that name along with my father. I was like, I'm going to take the name.
That was from Christian line of
right. Like he literally said, like, I'm going to take the last name of the man who really raised me. And I was like, but you look like your dad on purpose. And I was so shocked and I was so confused, but I was like, yo, this is definitely some DX WWE swerve. It's because we knew there was going to be an issue, right? We were like, okay, so what are we going to do? Is he going to come in as Brian Pillman Jr. and be a carbon copy of Brian Pillman, or is he going to get an opportunity to be himself? And it's like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you look like your father, but then we're going to have you bury your father and say like, oh, you're this way because you can't help it because you're a junior, but you're going to do everything you can to make a name for yourself. And I guess the rumors, I don't know if this is official or not, the rumors are going around that his name's going to be Lexus King.
Yeah.
So Lexus is
homage to his sister.
To his sister who passed away, and then the last name of the man who actually raised him, from what I know, his stepfather, I believe. I was like, or whoever it was, I don't know. I forgot to start Reddit on social media. But I was like, wow. Shawn Michaels has instantly used one promo package and he ran it correctly. And he immediately made me care about this man that much more than what I've ever seen him do in AEW in the last 3-4 years that he's been there, to the point where they decided not to renew that man's contract.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Real quick. When you see a second or third generation star, somebody who was like one of your favorites, do they automatically gain an interest from you?
Yes.
Okay, because like I was talking to Brother Fam about this last year at like one of the wrestle conventions, right? And I was telling him, I said, man, I'm a fan of Brian Pillman Jr. And anybody know Brother Fam, Ricky Dragon Steamboat's his favorite wrestler, but he said he didn't care about Richie Steamboat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. And I remember I did not like Michael McGillicuddy because of the name, the gimmick was just weird. But I wanted to root for him when I found out on ObsessedWithWrestling.com that there was a Joe Henning out there, right? And you remember Randy Orton comes out, cuts that promo, like, why can't he use the name? All of a sudden, he becomes Curtis Axel. He's got me, interested. When I first found out about Brian Pillman Jr., and he was on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, and he talked about understanding that his name was getting him in places, and he could charge more.
We
because
listened to that podcast. I listened to the same thing. I remember that because that's why I learned all them stories about. Oh, he never knew his dad. Yeah,
right.
Go ahead. Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm listening to this, and I was like, man, like I want to root for this kid because he's like Brian Pillman is in my top 10, and I'm like, I really want to see. But then I'm like watching him on NXT. I mean MLW, and I was like, all right. Clearly, this is the Indies, he's working with the Hart Foundation. And then I'm watching him on AEW, and I'm just getting sick. I'm like, bro, come on now. Like they not doing nothing with him. And just like that,
bro.
Just like that, Shawn Michaels. And this is why I said, like, y'all know, like, I'm a Bret Hart guy, right? But when it comes to producer Shawn, that's the man right there.
Producer Shawn is doing his thing. Brandon, what do you think about the obvious change between because we were all there. Like we as soon as we heard about a Brian Pillman Jr., we went looking for him, and we were like, that's him right there. And it's obvious that for years he has been trying to do something. Right? You know what I mean? We've been watching him kind of throw the cupcakes against the wow, that's clever. Throw the cupcakes against the wall and see what sticks. And it's obvious he had talent, but we like, man, he needs some kind of shaping. Like we got to figure out who he is and things like that. And it seems like before he even steps foot in WWE, there's already an anticipation where he immediately goes from a spoke on the wheel in AEW with the rest of 400 wrestlers to, I'm telling you, as soon as he shows up to that performance center, he's going to be a big deal. Off of that one promo package that they just pretty much ran. They ran one promo package and they ran the full promo package after that.
So, and I guess to your comment, when it comes to second or third generation stars, I hate when it's known and it's part of their gimmick that they are the son or the daughter of that wrestler.
Why is that?
Because at the end of the day, they need their own identity. Like, for instance,
I was about to say, give me an example, please.
For how long did it take us to realize that the Usos was Rikishi's sons?
Not that long, buddy. Come on.
No, be honest with me, because we knew about them in Booker T's promotion, right? With Athena.
Yeah.
The main roster, they didn't say it until they really started catching traction. Oh, they're the sons of the Hall of Famer Rikishi.
No, you're right, because we knew them as Umaga's nephews before we knew them as Rikishi's sons. You're right. You're absolutely
the point. So, like, when you look at somebody like a Charlotte Flair from day one,
Yeah.
is it fair that we automatically going to say, oh, she's the son of the greatest wrestler ever? Oh, she's got so much love. She never had a chance to really be the Charlotte Flair that we might want. But when it comes to somebody like a Brian Pillman Jr., a Randy Orton, a Cody Rhodes, look what Cody Rhodes in his documentary said he had to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the son of Dusty Rhodes. Goldust had to become somebody totally different to make sure you didn't associate him with his dad. So
he tried it. He tried it first.
Yeah, and it didn't work. Because think about it. If you know your parent was this and you break it in, they're going to automatically expect you to be that. Like, I love the fact that Dominic Mysterio broke away from Ray. I just wish that his name wouldn't still be Mysterio because I feel like
on.
And this is why. Look at the NXT.
Brother Brandon.
Listen to me.
Go ahead.
Every time there's commentary, they have to keep making references back to this Hall of Famer father. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's never going to feel like his own man, no matter how much heel stuff he do, how much. Yeah, because, you know, he did the same thing to his Hall of Famer dad. It's always brought up in the conversation.
What about when it comes to, like, in his lucha culture? You know what I mean? So, like, in the Hispanic / Mexican culture, it's important to carry on the legacy of a name. So, like, Ray took on the name of his uncle who broke him into the business.
Correct.
Do you make an exception in that situation for cultural purposes, or do you still feel the same way?
For namesake, it's fine because, like the Colognes,
okay,
we know that family was huge, right? But we didn't know Primo, Epico, and Carlito were all cousins until they started jamming it down our throat.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? And it was
I agree. Yeah, because I did not know that Carlito was Carlos Colon's son until like later down the line.
Exactly, but he forged his own path. And you're like, oh wow, that was different.
One more question about that for you. I really hate to keep interrupting you. Does it count if the parent was not a megastar in the States? So like Carlos Colon is known for his time in WWC, in the World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico. He was never really. I don't remember him being mentioned in the States as being like a top name in the WWF or the National Wrestling Alliance, stateside at least. Mm-hmm. I knew him more as a wrestler promoter, rather than that. Does that make a difference to you either, or still?
I think because it's kind of like with the lucha, like with the Rey Mysterio, knowing that he got his name from that. I think more importantly, it's when it's fair to us and it clouds our judgment for that wrestler, because like Natalya, we know who our father was, but she always forces it in our face that it was Bret Hart as her uncle. And even to her presentation, who could Natalya have been if she didn't go by, oh, my father is Jim Anvil Neidhart and I'm wearing pink and black? If she decided to wear green and yellow?
I got
she
one
could
more
have
for you.
forged a different path for herself. And then even down to her finisher, look, she's paying homage to that. So it's kind of, we don't know what other version of Natalya we could have got.
What if it's only to get your foot in the door? I listen. You're saying all excellent points, and it's causing me to ask all these questions. What if it's only to get your foot in the door? Because think about it. If you look at what she did, that was her presentation for a while, and eventually, once she kind of got over, she kind of naturally evolved into, you know what I mean, something else. And then you look at Owen Hart. Owen Hart came in. He wasn't necessarily pink and black attack at first, you know, but then he kind of like, I'm stealing it as a nephew to his brother Brett. Like, no, I'm the real King of Hearts, and he kind of took on the glasses and the look.
Ran with it.
Yeah, and then eventually he got away from it when Bret Hart ended up leaving. You know, he kind of went and did his own thing. So do you still feel the same if it's just to get your foot in the door?
So like in a Braun Breaker case, it worked for him. It kind of propelled him. Natural born athlete, talented, you know, could pick up on it because athletes. I think that's why they going with the NIL, because they see
Raven.
They're seeing a faster return on that because they're trainable and coachable. That repetition versus me off the street. You're not going to sit there and tell me I got to flap on a mat 37 times in 20 minutes.
That's the warm up, and that's just a warm up.
Yeah, but the athletes are conditioned that way.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So to get you in the door, the name will have some weight to it, but I think it'll get people to pay attention because they know you already got a leg up because you grew up in that business. You grew up behind, even if you just was on the sides, like you know how Young Rock, he was watching his mother and his grandmother run this promotion. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, definitely.
You have that, you already know certain things about. It's gonna sound ironic, the culture, because you were born into it.
I see what you did there.
So,
I see what you did there, sir.
you see what I did there?
Yeah.
But I just hate when it becomes their personality, because I feel like it's really not fair. And then I feel like, okay, here we go. And it might not even be the case, because
hold on. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
No, because I gotta say this. Yo, TBS know Ernie Johnson always worked with the brothers. He literally on a baseball post show, or with all the brothers.
Oh, so they just. That's funny. That's
I was
I'm
like,
not
they know. Hey, shout out to him. He had a good book. I checked his book out earlier this year.
Ernie Johnson.
Yeah. I had I think I had a free Audible credit. No, it was like free and Audible, so I listened to it.
Wow. I'm curious about your points, though, brother Brandon.
Yeah.
Ah, man, because this is taking a left turn. Like, I know we gotta move on, but we
That's
gotta
a
stay here
special
for a
show
second.
right there.
It
But
really is,
like,
though.
and this is the last point I'm gonna make. To the point, Ava Rain and Solo Sikoa tried to forge their own path, right?
True.
Solo got sucked into it, but we got Zillow.
Wasn't that the best thing for him, though?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not, but he forged his path, right? Being Rikishi's son on the Indies, right? He came into NXT as Solo Sikoa, looked different, but you can't deny he's one of the Usos, right?
Everybody knew it, even when he was denying it.
Yeah, but look at Zillow. Zillow is taking it on 100%. I am the son of Umaga. Look what I'm doing. I'm gonna let you know this is my persona and this is what I want to live by. Whereas though Ava, she's not saying I'm the Rock's daughter, but now we planting that seed that, hey, y'all know who I am. I never said it. I ain't cut a promo. I ain't do nothing. I ain't put it. I'm Ava Reigns, or now Ava, but now they're putting the limelight and planting the seeds for you to be able to tell that story. Because she left Schism. They say, go find your own path.
We definitely got to turn this into a show, because there are some exceptions and there are some failures. Like I give you an example. Like a perfect example of what you're talking about, brother Brandon, is like a Sean Stasiak. Like,
oh god,
like come on now, like Sean Stasiak in comparison to Stan Stasiak. Stan Stasiak is a Hall of Fame wrestling legend, and then Sean Stasiak was just a joke.
Like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do this?
Built like a statue, but he was
he
joke.
was meat.
He was known. That's what he. He will forever be known as.
Why do we go down that rabbit hole?
He will be forever known as Meat, the freaking the love toy, the boy toy of freaking PMS, Pretty Mean Sisters. It's a little attitude era humor for you, but we got to move on. That was you. You cracked open the can of worms, brother Brandon. But with that being said, we did see a lot of that. We had a lot of great matches. Fight night. We had.
Hold on, I want to address Dylan's question. I don't think you have to necessarily put her in there right now. I think you just planting early seeds. You know what I mean? That could be a whole long negotiation, but I definitely don't think she's the one to go against Rhea right now. That's what I think.
Nia. Rhea told Paul Heyman, "It's authorized. Acknowledge me."
Yo,
yeah. For those who are listening, Dylan Matthews asked, "Do you think it's a good idea to put Ava Rain into the bloodline when she will automatically be pitted against Rhea?" Interesting. I don't know. So that's what Brad H was
my
just
fault.
No, you're good.
Please sentences.
Naturally addressing. It's all good though.
Can we take a second and just appreciate the fact that Rhea Ripley is the 100% without a shadow of doubt the leader
bona fide
of a faction that has nothing else but males in it.
She's dominant. He plays her role so well. She's like she's sitting there being flirty until she got a dose of Trick Wiliams, and all of a sudden she wanted to shake, rattle, and roll. But yeah, definitely shout out. She's relevant.
Go ahead and leave. It's okay. I got this. I was
her and Jey Uso.
Yeah, Jey Uso like that. She looking at him like I saw her. I saw what she was pointing at too. I noticed. I don't know if anyone else noticed it. She said you better watch yourself. She looked down and said, yeah. I was like, oh, she better stop it. This is a children's program.
Look what you be tweeting.
Yeah,
she takes them risks.
Rhea's loved by everybody.
She is though, but she's only freaking 27. Happy birthday to her, like you said earlier. She just turned. Everybody's like, she's 27. She's got such a long way to go. I'm watching bald head Randy Orton fights Randy Orton is Hell in a Cell. I hated bald head Randy Orton. I'm not going to get into that anyway. Another crazy moment as the show ended. Man, this is something they teased. Oops, that's the wrong one. Which one is it? Nope. Is it not here? Where's it at?
Labels, man.
Nope. Nope. There it is. I thought so. That was it. Another special moment happened, right? And when we were seeing the promos for in this special episode of NXT on Tuesday, live on USA, after the commercials, we kept hearing a gong. We knew the Undertaker was going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. We knew the dead man was going to be lurking, and Braun Breaker had just lost a match, and the two new pillars of this version of NXT, we knew they both had a special moment in the ring with a bona fide Hall of Famer that certain things just will never change. And as long as Undertaker is moving and shaking, he will always be the godfather of professional wrestling. Yeah. He will always be the big dog in the yard that comes and goes, however, and as many times as he pleases. And Braun Breaker, I think he did an excellent job going toe-to-toe verbally with The Undertaker on the microphone. I'm watching his progression over the years, and he's become so much more natural and relaxed on the mic. He doesn't like he's forcing anything. Mm-hmm. And the big dog had to address him. Undertaker came out there and said, look, man, you may be the only dog in the yard right now, but there's always a bigger and badder dog lurking around the corner. And they had exchanged. Undertaker did some old school stuff. He, put the mic in there. He took his eyes off the Undertaker. Rule number 1, never take your eyes off the person in front of you. Undertaker popped him. He stole him in his face. And you heard it. Like, he just popped him. He dropped him to the ground. Cool moment for Braun Breaker and Undertaker. Carmelo Hayes, as the show went off, we didn't see it. It wasn't televised, but Carmelo Hayes had a chance to kind of have his moments to raise his hands with The Undertaker and to take that victory lap with him and greet the fans. And I just pretty much wanted to ask you guys, how cool is it that those guys kind of got the rub from The Undertaker in that way? Like, to me, that's the ultimate compliment. That, first of all, I would never thought in a million years I would see Undertaker in NXT, but the fact that he was able to be there with them and they got to have that moment as almost kind of like a reward, to get that validation from the Godfather of pro wrestling and The Undertaker. I thought it was very special for both of them, but I can only imagine how they felt being in that moment to be able to say, man, we just kind of got the rub from The Undertaker, and just to have that moment on TV. You know what I mean? What you guys think about The Undertaker's appearance on NXT?
I think we're probably getting the retirement taker that we probably should have been getting.
And it works. Isn't it crazy?
Because look what he did for God rest his soul, Bray Wyatt, when he came out and did that.
Yeah.
This is where,
special moment.
And I think this is what bothers me the most about AEW when they get a legend. They don't utilize them in ways like this.
What legends did AEW get?
Huh?
What legends did AEW get?
For instance, when they got Sting, they used. You get what I'm saying? Like, and now, and I'm gonna say this. You probably gonna hate when I say this.
No disrespect.
You're not using Jeff Jarrett in the right light. You're making him a regular wrestler.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett's still a name. Like.
Yeah. It should feel special. Like that. That moment wasn't for us as the fans. It probably meant more to those wrestlers to one, just talk to the Undertaker backstage. 2, to share the screen with him, and 3, to put eyes on their product that probably wouldn't have been there, and now people have seen something good and they know they're going to tune back in next week. Because
you preaching, brother. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen next, because if he said I'm the big, and I'm like, because he called himself blah 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 Braun Breaker, and I'm like, I was feeling the gimmick, but now you had that man come do that in the choke slam. All right, Braun, what's next for you? What you going to do now? You just got chokeslam for the Taker. I don't think anybody's going to make a joke about it. He's going to be madder, angrier, probably more aggression. We know we're not going to get that match with him, but rewind back. Paul Heyman said, I can see you in the main event of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to – I want to tune in next week, because this show was what I believe stuff like Raw – old school Raw, all those emergency push the button and get all the. It wasn't a showcase of legends. It was a, hey, I want to kill the ratings. I'm gonna call it what it is. But when I kill the ratings, I'm going to give you a show that you're going to want to see next week and the following week. I'm gonna keep building because I'm more excited about NXT than I am AEW now.
I
Am
mean,
I
yeah,
crazy for thinking that if a certain person that keep running their mouth, that this show would have been left alone? It would have been, maybe Becky Lynch, maybe John Cena. But once,
Definitely Cody.
okay, well, I would even say not even him, right? All
Well,
right,
no, I'm saying
maybe
because he got to
Cody
announce the
and
stuff for his dad. He had to announce the
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
insert Cody, maybe take away Heyman and Cena. But
Yes.
once a certain person started getting on their Twitter fingers, started doing this, it's like, okay, you want to play games? You forgot who you messing with? Cue the music.
he definitely forgot who the heck he was messing with. Like you
But
said it best, Brian H. You said literally, for love of God, don't go toe
also,
to
if
toe
he
with
wanted to
DX
do this
ever again.
again,
Right.
the next time they say anything for NXT, because if you notice now, when people saw the Undertaker is going to be in town, they tuned in just to see.
Yeah.
At this point now, anytime NXT is somewhere and it's a live show, who knows who's going to be there? Why not go see it?
Exactly. I mean, and especially the way that the main roster guys pop up randomly at any point in time. It's got the surprise factor that people like that. That's like it's entertainment. I was tripping out when I saw the line outside. They showed the line of people lined up to go to NXT, and I was like, man, that's just to get in. To be
They
a
need
part
a
of.
bigger. I hate to say they need a bigger venue.
In all honesty, it's probably that way every week. But again, you want to sit here and try to start with the big dogs.
And then and also he came to their territory. He came to Tuesdays.
I was thinking the same exact.
And look at their premium live events. Their premium live events are selling. They only rope it off the very top row.
I know.
Some of the AEW events in. That's all I'm gonna say.
Getting a little known in this.
You might want to take a book from WWE, Tony Khan, and say, you know what? Let me get me a center that I can run Collision in.
And like Dylan said, he's the man lost by 300,000 plus.
Yeah, that was bad. All right, guys, we got to talk about AEW. Here it is. We're going to wrap up. We're not going to stay on this too long because there's not much to talk about this. But AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday, they decided to go head-to-head with NXT this day. And we spent the whole show talking about NXT because it was worth talking about. The match card for this night was Edge versus Luchasaurus. Hikaru versus
Copeland.
No, it's Edge. Hikaru versus no, his name's Edge. Versus Saraya. Ray Phoenix versus it was supposed to be John Moxley, but it ended up being Orange Cassidy for the AEW International Championship. Adam Page versus Jay White. Daniel Bryan versus Swerve, which Brian D said he was extremely disappointed in. Y2J.
No.
What?
So you said it, Brian.
I'm disappointed in Dan. No, not disappointed.
That's right. The next time you see him at Wally Mania, you gotta have some explaining to do.
Daniel says at Wally Mania, I'm gonna pop for that alone.
Swerve's gonna come looking for you like this.
Hollywood.
And then Brother Brandon's favorite wrestler, Y2J, got squashed by Powerhouse Hobbs.
Can we start with that, please? Because
let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
say, I'm gonna say one thing about that match. Thank you for changing his ring gear and letting him be a dominant force that he should have been when he was with Team Taz. You are 2 years behind the 8 ball, but this is the Powerhouse Hobbs we have been asking for, and only to be one up by Warlow saying, "You're not the only big meaty man that slap meat. Watch what I do."
Slapping meats.
But I don't have faith that Tony Khan gonna follow up on that.
No, it's obvious that we know what AEW is. It's like the booking is always there, but you're booking a bunch of wrestling matches, and sometimes you forget that you're actually trying to put on a show. Now, if that is if that's their formula, then so be it. I know we were talking a while ago, just maybe it's got to be a week or two ago. My timing is off because apparently I've said things years back. That, I swear, I feel like I said it like 2 weeks ago. But there's an obvious problem with AEW with how their shows look, and now they're having really bad issues with live attendance. I feel like the new car smell is kind of worn off a little bit. And I knew that was going to happen. Anytime something's new and fresh is exciting. But I feel like at this point, that formula has kind of run out. Edge debuted. He had his first match on AEW Dynamite, and I was not impressed at all.
I was impressed with that promo.
I was just waiting to talk about the best wrestler on the roster right now, the best superstar on the roster.
We talking Christian Cage?
You already know.
That's what I said. I was impressed with that promo. Christian said, "Get the sheets ready."
Christian Cage is saving AEW. Like,
Christian,
I
what did he say, Brian? He said, "Get the sheets ready because your daughter's about to have a new daddy or something like that."
Yo,
I said,
it bothers me that he has all his best runs outside of WWE because like I feel like nobody's going to hear about it unless they're diehard wrestling fans. And the fact that Christian has had all his best moments outside of WWE is embarrassing to me. And I blame he whose name should not be mentioned because every time we mention his names, we have technical difficulties. It's because they just never let him loose. And it just, the timing was
got
off.
punished for being Edge's best friend.
A big time. And I just felt like even when they had a chance to re-sign him creatively, they were like, well, they just wanted to feed him the reins. He was going to be a spoken Edge's wheel. And it's like, man, he was so much more than that. And he went on to AEW. And now
better than Edge.
Man, Edge is not. It was a lot of jokes about when he ran out there, and then they're like, Edge keeps forgetting that he's going to the side where there's no fans in the stands at, and then even his match on AEW Dynamite didn't really move the needle. Now, I know why Edge is in AEW, and everybody knows why Edge is in AEW, and it's okay because WWE it was a mutual split based off what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? Because everybody was happy for him. Like, look, there's not much really for you to do here. And there's, Triple H and Shawn Michaels run the show. They're going to push the youth. They're going to push the young guys. They're going to push those guys that didn't get their solid runs. They're going to push for the
future.
Yeah, because that's what you're supposed to do. Because they've always said, even in their click days, that your next stars are your lifeblood of the business. And the ability to develop talent. That's what they've put their focus on. Like, even little Adam was like, he's like, man, AEW just signed old guys. And I said, dang, I'm gonna say that on the show. He said, WWE got new people. He said, but AEW signing the old people. And I was like, buddy, you see it for yourself. And I'm not disappointed. I'm happy for him. There's so much he can do there. And I'm grateful for it, man. But this show just did not live up to the expectation. AEW is going to give you what they give you every week. They're going to give you solid wrestling. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
It was a good show, but it wasn't close. And
it's just
people thought, oh, he be biased. I'm like, when we talk about what show was better, it was not close.
What do people say to you?
Oh, you being biased,
But see, my thing with AEW, and this is where I think we got spoiled. Tony Khan gave us a lot of dream matches in those moments for free for so long. He's out
reminds me of somebody.
I'm just going to say he's out of stuff that can draw me in that moment because, for instance, as good as Ray Phoenix and Matt Jackson, right, for the international title last week was, that's only good, and that was only a great match to a wrestling fan.
Yes.
And that audience. But that's not going to make me turn the channel and say, I want to tune into that. As much as that international title meant to me as a wrestling fan, when you gave it to Moxley, I didn't care about it anymore. You gave it to Ray Phoenix, it kind of made me pay attention, but knowing these men are hurt, and then you're going to give it back to Cassidy anyway, I was like, why take it off of him in the first place?
You did say that.
Just so he can say he's a two-time AEW International Champion, another record for him to hold.
But he won it almost a year to the date that he won it the first time.
It's frustrating. It really is. So much potential.
We're not going to escape the fact what he do to the women, because I'm telling you now, if Sheeta only got this belt for somebody to take it off of her, I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm probably going to be done with AEW at this point because
they wrestle every week at 9:25 to 9:30.
Because she deserves better.
9:30. That's not
9:25.
It's 9:30. Wow.
She deserves better than being transitional champions.
Yeah, man. I'm trying. I really am, and I'm trying to be positive, but we're gonna wrap this up. yeah. You guys mind if I have the final word on AEW? And I don't mean like literally the last thing to say, but you know how that thing, they be like, let this, they give the final word, but they just give like this nice little diatribe at the
You know
end
what we
of the
should
show.
do for this one though?
What's that?
We should just do this.
Go ahead. This is a true shout out to Drew Willingham and true Drew Willingham style.
Exactly.
No, you guys come back on screen. This is awkward for me.
You don't
It's
like
awkward.
looking at yourself?
It's weird. 'Cause I feel like I'm going to keep laughing if I keep looking at the screen and I keep
Wait,
seeing
we
me.
forgot a match. Wait a minute. What match? It was something else that happened. Then
It was Daniel Bryan and Swerve, Y2J and Hobbs, Adam Page and Jay White. Jay White's my guy.
Adam Page, Jay White. That's what it was.
The Bullet Club Gold's gonna have a little bit of heat on their hands. Bad timing. I'm not even gonna mention it.
Yep.
Terrible. Oh, terrible timing.
Yeah,
No,
that's why I was like,
I was disappointed too because if there's ever a group right now I would join, it was that one. I'm not saying it now because nope, that's where there's smoke, there's fire. But yeah,
It's all about Christian, man. Christian.
yeah, it's
promo.
Christian Cage is saving AEW. I'll say this. I'll say this and then I'm done, gentlemen. Then you guys can say whatever you want and we can get out of here. AEW has run out of time. They're going to be fine as a company. AEW is going to be a very solid alternative. It's going to be a platform for a lot of superstars to get their names out there. At this point, there's no way in the world I can ever see AEW ever really competing with WWE in any way, shape, or form. If you look at why WCW was able to compete in the first place, it's because they had national credibility. That's a credibility that AEW doesn't have. They had Ric Flair, which is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of all time at some point. It went in the toilet with Ric Flair. And then Hulk Hogan came along, Macho Man came along, and that made WCW be taken seriously. Not the NWO, but literally WCW. And now that it was being taken seriously on a level, it was still in the toilet. Like it was enough to compete, but it was no competition to do. And that's with, once again, these life-changing talents had joined this organization. There are no more life-changing talents anymore. We're talking the generational talents like the Hulk Hogans, the John Cenas, the Rocks, the Austins, the Roman Reigns, right? Unless Roman Reigns himself or John Cena jump ships to AEW, it will never be able to compete with WWE the same way WCW did. WCW will always be the second most successful company in professional wrestling history. It's because they caught lightning in a bottle. There is no more talent out there. There's nobody that can jump ship anymore. Like Edge showed up, it didn't change the ratings. It didn't change the attendance. There's no more needle movers in the world of professional wrestling right now that he can even help AEW get to the point of competing. Like CM Punk did it and it didn't work. He was the closest thing to it, and it was just, once again, it was full of drama. And there's just nobody else out there. All of our superstars that could have potentially done it are older now. Randy, at one point I used to say like, oh yeah, Randy Orton or John Cena chooses, but Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they jumped ship in their prime. They chose WCW over WWF in their prime. There's nobody else right now on that level that could ever jump ship to AEW right now to even bring it close to even competing. Like what can you possibly do as a company to improve ticket sales, to improve people want to watch every week? Building new stars isn't the answer because only wrestling fans are coming to see new stars being built. People joined WCW because they were familiar with Hulk Hogan. They didn't want to go the raunchy route. They wanted to stick with what they knew. It was enough to keep them credible. There's nothing credible about what AEW is doing right now outside of the wrestling audience, which is niche. And it's sad, man. It's rough. It just came to a really rough conclusion and realization. They'll be fine as a company. They'll continue to grow. They'll be good. But as far as competing with WWE or even have a chance to say we're going to become the number one wrestling company in the world, it's just not there. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know, man.
And you know why? Because AEW is a wrestling company in an entertaining world.
Bingo. It's just drop the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, we out of here. I'm leaving. That it's like what it's the truth though. Like what else? And it's like, and the problem I have with the IWC is if you say that, they like you're hating on them. It's like, no, it's the truth. It's not like I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to do bad. but it's the truth. And you're so focused on this indie attitude of let's put on the best matches with all this talent. Yes, I agree with it. I enjoy that too, but not enough to stop me on a Monday or a Wednesday or a Saturday and say, let me stop what I'm doing to catch this when I could just catch it later anyway. We don't consume television the way we did back in the 90s. There was only one way to watch wrestling back in those days. It was just through cable television. We have access to everything these days. Like there's no chance any other company can even come close to competing with WWE or even offer them. It's a stepping stone. It's an alternative. It's good for what it is, man. But I'm done, man. That was the best they could do. And like I said, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Jay White. I mean, these are some of my favorites. And I was just watching the match like, I feel like I've seen all these before. Like there's no interest.
Well, I said in the beginning.
Which was?
It don't hit the same. Daniel Bryan, he got moved back down.
Dang.
No, he ain't number one no more.
He ever since Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega, and then that was it. I was like, and then they did Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega too, and that's we kept saying the same thing. We the same thing we hear Bruce Pritchard say on his podcast all the time when people question his decision making. All right, no, where do you go from here? And then what? But good brothers.
Jericho is ruining his legacy too.
I don't think why I don't think it ruins his legacy, because nobody's gonna know he's even there. They're gonna be like, where you been at? Kevin Nash said that when he came back from TNA. When he kind of came back and had his resurgence, and he was kind of riding the wave in TNA, but he felt disrespected because after a while TNA stopped respecting him as a legend. He goes back to the WWE. They're like, oh my gosh, where you been all this time? He's like, I've been wrestling for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Like, what do you mean? I just been in TNA. And guess what? You know what the crazy part is? TNA's television audience was larger than AEW's back in its heyday. Yeah, like
they were on TNT, right, during that time? Were they on TNT or
Spike?
They were on Spike.
Spike, thank you. I knew it was on it. I was like, they had that national cable audience, and
they had at least 1 million followers on a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you like, I don't know what to tell you, man. But it's clearly NXT beat AEW on a landslide. We're getting out of here. We don't have time to keep talking about this. We've already gone over. I appreciate you brothers for sticking around. I appreciate everybody in the chat joining us as we burn the midnight oil. Everybody that stayed with us, those who are listening. Please follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon channel, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Realm. Wow. Daniel Price says, Con's like, I'm not going to read it. Okay. Any last words, gentlemen? I'll say one nice thing about AEW, not out of spite, but just out of truth. Any last words before we get out of here? Dang, that's just rough.
I would say, I'm not anti-AEW. I just know they can do better. I just wish they would.
Yeah, me too. How about you, Brian H? Anything you have to say?
Put the title on Christian Cage and let him cook.
Might as well.
That's a world title feud. Him and give us what we never got in WWE. Take us the direction. Give us Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland for the world heavyweight title.
Y'all don't like Edge?
This whole stealing the belt thing,
bro. That you realize, as much as we want that, if they do that, this is WCW all over again.
And they ain't got no choice.
And you know what?
Well, what if Christian? He keeps saying
WCW gave us Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan for the belt because they had no choice.
Right, because they were trendsetters. They like Macho Man and Hogan were different level than Edge and Christian.
That's true.
Like, you feel me? Your grandmother would order the pay-per-view to say, "Oh shoot, Hogan and Savage going at it again. I'll take that one more time." Even if it was 91, 92, right? Like, that was the audience at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, what grandmother is watching AEW?
I ain't got nothing else to say.
I'm just saying, it's just something to think about, man. I'm just saying. On that note, I'm just saying. I just think about it. That's the truth. Like, Savage Hogan running back one more time. Sure, I'll give you my $25 for that. Nowadays, I just wait till it comes out on YouTube. Anyway, one bright spot. I'll tell you a tag team that I do like: the Gates of Agony.
Well, yeah, definitely.
They got something there. I like them. But on that note, I like leaving the show even better. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. Very NXT heavy, very AEW Dynamite not heavy, but it was what it was. The ratings was 920,000 to like, was it 300 something? Who knows? But join us next week. Who knows what the heck we're going to be talking about? Stay tuned for the everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. Also, stay tuned to Championship Culture, youtube.com/Wrestling Realm playlist, Championship Culture, to catch up on all the episodes that you've missed. Patreon.com/Wrestling_Realm, WrestlingRealm.com, all that good jazz. Same bat time, same bat place next week, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of here. Peace out.
Mr. Brian Waters.